Australia is wild.
5 oranges for almost $10.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Inflation is down.
Really?
Today, inflation surges.
How much does bottled water set you back? This is $10.30 for a 24 pack.
Food prices. Food prices? Food prices are ridiculous right now.
Open up YouTube right now and you will find 1,000 Australians doing the same video. Bright lights, cheerful music, a trolley full of bargains, and a caption that says something like, "My weekly budget haul, feeding a family of 4 for under $100. Watch closely and you will notice the trick. Half the trolley is home brand. The meat is mince again. And there is always one shot of someone holding up a receipt like it is a trophy. Good on them, honestly. But while they are doing their cheerful little haul, the rest of the country is standing in the same aisle doing maths that does not work no matter how many times you run it. Because groceries in Australia have not just gone up this year, they have gone through the roof. And the haul videos are not proof that everything is fine. They are proof that ordinary people have had to turn grocery shopping into a competitive sport just to survive it.
Oh my god. 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 Oh my god.
How much does bottled water set you back? This is $10.30 for a 24 pack at Coles, so that's $1.23 per litre. You can get the bigger 8 pack, $6.50, which is 54 cents per litre for the larger ones. What I've done is bought 4 of these. They're $4.69 each at Aldi. And then I head to my local water refill station where I can fill up my containers for 45 cents per litre. This water is reverse osmosis, which means it removes absolutely everything from the water, including fluoride, heavy metals, toxins, viruses, all that sort of rubbish. And then the bonus is I'm not adding hundreds or thousands of extra plastic water bottles to the problem. Because this process does remove some of the good minerals as well, you just need to add a pinch of salt to it to remineralize your water.
Alright, so just found a chicken in Woolies. $137.50. The rest $12.50. Woolies is currently trying to rip us $150. Woolies is trying to currently rip us off. Is there any more of this price? Alright, well, bye-bye. $87, $150.
6 up and goes, $14. And that's apparently down, prices are down, $14, 6 up and goes. Sorry? Packet of Tim Tams, $6. Someone tell me why Tim Tams are $6. This one really sent me $23 for shitty ass coffee. Like, look, this doesn't affect me because I drink my cappuccinos from a Barista Express. Blend 43, $23. Have they lost their fucking minds? And while we're on the topic of coffee, 4 cans, the packet, 4 of these, $14.70. $14.70 for canned coffee from a supermarket. I literally cannot even make this shit up. I want you to guess before I tell you how much you think these lint boxes are. Have you thought of it? I want to tell you. $36. $36 for some shitty ass chocolate. I'm not even taking the piss. I feel like anything that you have joy in life, big corporate companies will be there to suck the shit out of you. $37 for a bag. 2 for $28. Are they taking the fucking piss? Just waiting for the cameras to come pop out and be like, nah, we're just joking. We're just joking. This isn't real. Because, see these mini ones? Size of a scorpion's pussy. Like my hand comparison. 2 for $18. Apparently it's on special though. We're saving $6. How generous. Oh man, I can't even afford to get my clothes dirty. $36 for some Omo. Actually decided I'm not doing anymore and I need to go and regulate my feelings. It's like they're rage baiting me. It's like I'm on an episode of Punked or something like that.
Yo, if you ever want, yeah, if you're one of them, yeah, that lacks flavoured air, right, and you want a reason to quit, just come to Australia. Come to Australia and I swear to God, yeah, you'll quit. Tell me how, right? There's people over here, the going rate's 50 quid, bruv. and it's not even like a Hayati. It's not even like a good one. Do you get me? It's called like Alibaba or something like that. Tastes like bubblegum, bruv. Do you get me? Everyone's walking around with the same one, and they've just spent $100, $110, $115, $105 on flavored air, bro. Look at this. Ready? That's fresh air, bro. That's fresh air, and it's free. You get me, bro? One, it's ass. It tastes like ass. And two, how are you spending like your daily wage? Not your daily wage, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, how are you spending that much money, bro, on flavored air? £50, $100. Bro, in the UK, they're £6, $12. Bro, the world's gone mad. That is like the next level definition of like nitty. Do you get me? That's like an ick. Do you get me? A girl I turn around and say, like, if you speak to a girl or a guy over here, and like, yeah, I just spent $100 on some flavored air. Like, bro, oof, nah, give it a rest. But then again, there's a business opportunity, isn't there? Do you know what I mean?
Grocery shopping in Australia is so expensive. Obviously, it's been a little while now since we've been in England, but grocery shopping in Australia just seems so expensive. We've actually been getting all of our fresh fruit and veg from a fresh fruit and veg stall, and then we go over to Coles to get all of our cupboard and meat things. We find this is the cheapest and most efficient way of doing our food shop, but let us know what you think. Is this expensive, and how much do you pay for your weekly grocery shop?
5 oranges for almost $10. If people ask me, why did you move to Australia? I would say because of the Australian prices. Why is everything in Australia so expensive? I just wanted to get some fruits to stay healthy, to save my vitamins, and I didn't think that I would spend so much money on fruits. One avocado is almost $2, which is okay, but not cheap at all. One mango for almost $2.70. And 5 oranges for almost $10. What is cheaper, guys? Coles or Woolies? Or is Aldi the cheapest one? Let me know in the comments. My name is Nick. If you want to follow my journey, subscribe to my channel.
Let us start with the official figures, because the government loves to tell you inflation is moderating. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, food and non-alcoholic beverages rose 3.1% in the 12 months to February this year. Overall inflation was 3.8%. Doesn't sound too dramatic when you say it like that, does it? 3% here, 3% there. Except inflation numbers are an average, and averages are where governments hide bad news. The real number that matters is the one on your receipt. And according to consumer surveys, the average Australian household is now spending around $178 a week on groceries. For a family of 4, that figure jumps to around $240 a week. That is an 11% increase in just 2 years. Other reporting puts some households well past $300 a week for the same trolley that used to cost under $200. So when someone tells you inflation is cooling off, ask them why the supermarket still feels like a hostage negotiation. Here is the part nobody wants to say out loud on the evening news. A big chunk of this mess is sitting in a diesel tank. Fuel prices have spiked hard this year, partly thanks to the conflict in the Middle East rattling global oil markets, and diesel is now sitting around $3.20 a litre. That might sound like a fuel story, not a grocery story. It is both. Diesel runs the tractors, diesel runs the irrigation pumps. Diesel runs every single truck that hauls lettuce from a Queensland farm to a Sydney shelf. Farmers are not absorbing that cost out of the kindness of their hearts. They cannot. Margins in Australian agriculture are already razor thin, and farming groups have warned food prices could jump by as much as 20% if fuel and fertiliser costs keep climbing. Fertiliser, by the way, is mostly imported, so when global supply chains wobble, Australian farmers get hit twice. Once on fuel, once on fertiliser, and then a third time when interest rates and labour costs squeeze them on top of that. By the time that lettuce reaches your trolley, it has been taxed by every link in the chain. You are not paying for lettuce. You are paying for diesel, fertiliser, freight, and a supermarket margin wearing a lettuce costume.
The study shows teenagers are taking on adult anxieties.
The cost of living crisis, climate change, the digital well-being talk, it's become even more amplified.
Almost half identifying financial security and housing as their greatest concern, ahead of mental health issues and digital change and online safety. A quarter are already worried about their future job security, a concern that's prompted high school graduate Ashwini to study law at university.
Certainly, I think income, my financial and job security in the future, it did make an influence.
But she still has her doubts.
Is that law degree even enough for me to get a job? Will that job ever be, challenged by possibly the rise of technology, AI?
Sadly, the outlook for teenagers is no brighter. 2 in 3 think they'll be worse off than their parents. A third are worried about the future generally. Just 30% are excited or hopeful about the next 5 years, and even fewer are optimistic about progress on climate change.
It's just a lack of hope that we didn't need during our final year of Year 12.
Even going to school is proving a hassle. More than half of public school secondary students miss a month of school a year, many claiming what they're being taught is irrelevant. Half of school children have experienced cyberbullying, and nearly 3/4 have seen harmful content online.
Australia is wild. Just bought dinner. I'm cooking it myself, right? Got the cheapest steak, rice, some yogurt and broccolini, $22.
At this popular eatery, customers are queuing for Vietnamese delight. But behind the bustle, keeping these queues on the grill is getting pricier.
The biggest cost for us is the cost of staff. It takes about 30 to 35% of our gross income every day.
That wage bill is forcing the owner Patrick Phuong to make tough decisions.
The cost it gets passed on to customer, but it's very minimal only.
Wages rose by 0.8% in the 3 months to September and 3.4% for the year. Pay rises are still outpacing inflation, which rose to 3.2% over the same period. Public sector wages are growing faster than private sector pay, with state governments dominating pay rises in the most recent quarter.
This is the longest period of real wages growth in almost a decade.
Pay rises for healthcare and social assistance workers were the biggest contributor.
Up until recently, economic activity was being propped up by the public sector. But I think what we've seen in recent months is that there is a transition now underway in terms of the economic recovery, where the keys are being handed over from the public sector to the private sector.
Payroll data shows total wages and salaries paid by employers to staff rose 5.3% in the year to September, down from the 6.1% rise recorded over the 12 months to September 2024.
We want to see people getting ahead, especially because we've got to keep getting ahead because people went backwards during the pandemic.
Jenny Rocks doesn't feel like she's getting ahead. She's worked in education for 3 decades and is now the director of a community preschool.
The wage growth has almost been stagnant. Our colleagues that work in the school system, our colleagues that work in the long daycare sector have seen significant improvements in their wages, and even then those teachers' wages are still low.
She says her colleagues often struggle to live on what they earn.
At the moment, there's a high level of frustration. It's constantly on their mind. How are we going to pay certain bills? For some people, it's how am I going to put petrol in the car to even get to my work?
With wages remaining steady, productivity subdued and inflation picking up, economists are forecasting workers will see their purchasing power diminish in the months ahead.
We are anticipating that real wages will contract early next year, and that could just temper the recovery that we're seeing consumer spending growth.
Despite this, Besardetta doesn't see compelling reasons for further interest rate cuts.
We don't see the Reserve Bank as having any room to move rates lower. We see the possibility of one more rate cut in the second half of next year, but we hold that with a low conviction.
Sprinkle the thing for me, please.
Back at Patrick's restaurant, he's having to mark in because he cannot afford to hire more staff.
It's been a top year for us in Capramata here. There's a lot of shops come and a lot of shops close down as well. Most business, they don't survive after their second year.
He's hoping his customers will stay with him for 2026, even if times get...
Well, the latest inflation data has been released, and it was supposed to be a day that we celebrated a big win for the ABS and also the RBA. This is the first release of a comprehensive inflation scorecard that will be delivered on a monthly basis. Now, the ABS have been working on this for some time. We're playing catch up with a lot of other advanced economies like Japan, the US, UK, Canada, and previously the RBA had to wait for 3 months to get a real steady read on what inflation was doing in the economy. The ABS is now releasing a more comprehensive data set on a monthly basis. So supermarket scanner data is included, childcare costs are included, capital city breakdowns, things that will give the governor and the board much more confidence much more quickly so we can make policy decisions faster and react to inflationary spikes sooner. The bad news, of course, was the actual numbers overtook the headlines on this. 3.8% was the headline inflation number for October, well and truly outside the 2 to 3% band that the RBA is targeting, and the trimmed mean, the one they really care about, also 3.3%. So, look, it's pervasive across all sectors. If you take a look, food, alcohol, clothing, footwear, housing, recreation and culture, it's all higher than was certainly forecast by the RBA and by many experts in the economy. So not a good news story for Aussies. What does it mean? Well, rate cuts were already off the table between now and the end of the year. It seems now the market's pricing in about a 25% chance of a rate cut in Q2 next year. So we're likely to see a period of very steady rates in the Aussie economy, assuming inflation doesn't get any worse. But now we'll get a much more comprehensive read on a monthly basis. The RBA will be more quickly reacting to those figures.
Let's talk about what's going on with the Australian people at the moment. The cost of living has gotten so bad in Australia. Our wages for the last decade have barely moved. So we're pretty much going backwards. There's a lot of factors involved, but one of the main drivers is mass immigration. It's putting a huge strain on supply due to demand. Housing's probably been the worst hit. Rents have gone through the roof. Like most people's wages are just literally enough to probably cover the rent, and that's about it. But you couldn't rent on your own unless you had a really, really good job. Groceries have just skyrocketed. The price of groceries has literally, I think it's looking like it's doubled to me. From, say, 2019, electricity has skyrocketed. We've just seen increase after increase after increase on electricity. I don't think anything's been spared, just everything. We don't get access to free doctors anymore. Hospital wait times are blown out. People struggle to get their kids into childcare. People struggle to get their kids into schools. The job market's so saturated, so competitive. So I know a lot of young people that have been trying to get a job for a very long time and just can't. Those people are working, but they've only got a few hours a week and they can't seem to get another job, and every job they apply for is saturated with applicants. So our kids are literally being robbed of their futures. They can't get a house, they can't get a job. Businesses are encouraged to employ immigrants over Australians. We see immigrants getting paid large sums of money, not all of them, but some of them. Certain immigrants from certain countries being paid large sums of money to move here and study, while our own kids miss out on places for study and also can't even afford to leave home or have the opportunities to build a career or a life because they're being robbed of it all. Everything's being taken from them. Our poor Indigenous communities and Indigenous people, they're being hit hard as well. When I talk about Australians, I'm also talking about Indigenous people and people that have been here for generations. So the Italians and everyone else. Those of us that our families have been here for a long time have been put at the back burner, we've been put last. It looks like we're being replaced. We're being replaced by people that are willing to work for less, willing to work for poorer conditions, that are willing to vote for the right people, that are not going to ask questions of the government. I think most Australians are feeling pretty low and down and out at the moment about the state of our country. Most people in Australia are feeling really upset and betrayed and disappointed I think morale in our country is pretty low at the moment. Everyone's feeling like it doesn't matter what they do, they can't afford to pay for everything they have to pay for. It's putting a massive strain on families, on relationships, on friendships too, because people can't afford to go and do things with their friends. It's affecting our culture because we can't afford the culture that we had. Our culture was barbecues and holidays and, you know, hanging out with friends and doing things, going out, enjoying life. That's what our culture is. We can't enjoy our life because we can't even afford food on the table, let alone enjoyment in life. People can only tolerate living like that for so long. I think it's time, like, we all had each other's back and put our foot down and said enough. We need to stand up to our government and tell them that what they're doing is unacceptable.
Today, I received my electricity quarterly bill. Usually it stands at about $350 to $400. For some reason, AGL is billing me $715 this quarter. Is there a jump that I'm not aware of? Do I have a leak in my house? What makes my electricity bill double in cost? Evil. And that's with a concession card on top. We're so cooked. Who needs to eat food, right? AGL, you can suck my ass.
Food prices. Food prices? Food prices are ridiculous right now. Can't even comprehend what I just bought the other day. Few bags, couple bags, $100. 2 bags of food should not be $100, man. I don't know what's going on with Australia right now, but we are so far behind in every aspect of fucking everything. It's embarrassing to every other country. Like, we're an embarrassment. We're a fucking laughing stock of the world, I swear. We're so strict. So much more stricter than anywhere else, man. I guess it's kind of a good thing sometimes, but I saw just today that wrecked my brain a small little bunny, chocolate bunny, the little Cadbury ones, little small fucker, $9.50. What? $9.50? Like chocolate that I've got it on special. Chocolate on special is 2 for $10. That's a joke in itself. Like, and the packets of chips, 2 for $9? That's not fucking special, bro. That's not a special. That's robbery. Oh man, I remember 24 packs of cans were like $10. Now they're like $30 on special. What are we doing? COVID, man. COVID fucked everything. COVID, we're still recovering from that. I feel like that's what this is. But I don't think, like, we're just going to go back to the old prices? That's not how it works. So far behind since then, but we're still recovering. And we're never going to recover from that. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. I can't like, how much is 2 blocks of chocolate going to cost in the future? $20? Where is the limit? Because $9.50 for a small block of, like, it's for kids. It's for fucking Easter. Like, what are you doing? Do you want my fucking cut off my arm? Have that. You might as well. You've taken fucking everything else. Cut my fucking fingers, hands. Fucking take it all. You've taken it. Just take it. It's just hard, man. It's hard for the single mothers out there trying to look after their kids. Something needs to be done to support, the struggling families as well. Struggling families that are struggling to keep afloat. Because these prices are just making things so much worse, man. Anyway, give us a like if you're fed up with these food prices, man. Just let me know what you think about these stupid prices and how much you've spent on food.
Meat, dairy, and fresh produce are taking the biggest hits, and you can see the behaviour change happening in real time. Premium cuts of meat have quietly slid from a weekly staple to an occasional treat. Fresh bakery bread is getting swapped for the cheaper stuff in plastic. Brand loyalty is dead. Nobody cares anymore whether it says Vegemite or spread Vegemite style on the jar, as long as it is $2 cheaper. There are real families behind these numbers, not just statistics. One Brisbane mother of 3 told reporters her weekly shop has nearly doubled in a few years, from around $180 a week to well over $300, and that is with cutting back on treats entirely. A Sydney father of 3 put it bluntly, groceries are now one of the biggest expenses in the household, full stop. Not rent, not the car, groceries. And here is the kicker. It is not just groceries. Electricity is up. Fuel is up. Insurance premiums have jumped as well. For the first time in a long time, every essential cost in an Australian household is rising at the same time, instead of taking turns. There is no single villain to blame because everything is on fire simultaneously, which makes it very hard to budget your way out of. If this is hitting close to home, hit like on this video right now. It genuinely helps this channel keep covering stories like this instead of getting buried by algorithm fluff. And if you have not subscribed yet, do it now, because we are tracking the cost of living crisis from every angle, and you do not want to miss the next one. Now let us talk about Coles and Woolworths, because they would love for you to believe their hands are completely tied. Supermarket giants say they are under pressure from suppliers to raise prices, and to be fair, some of that pressure is real. But Australians have also watched these two companies report healthy profits year after year, while telling shoppers there is simply nothing they can do about the price of mints. The federal government has promised to crack down on price gouging, supposedly landing around July, with reviews into how supplier cost rises actually translate into shelf prices. Whether that turns into real consequences or another toothless review, you can judge for yourself based on how every other cost of living promise has gone so far. In the meantime, Aldi keeps quietly picking up market share by simply being cheaper, which tells you everything about how much room the big two actually had to move on price before they decided not to. So back to those budget haul videos. They are not lying to you, and the creators are not doing anything wrong by trying to help people save money. But the existence of an entire genre of content dedicated to surviving the weekly shop is itself the headline. Nobody made budget haul videos when groceries were affordable. You do not need a strategy and a spreadsheet to buy bread when bread is cheap. The fact that an entire generation of Australians is now treating a trip to Woolworths like a logistics operation, comparing catalogues, downgrading brands, skipping meat, timing specials, is not resilience. It is a symptom. It means the basics have quietly become a luxury that now requires planning, and the people telling you everything is fine have clearly not pushed a trolley through Coles lately. If your grocery bill has blown out this year, you are not imagining it, and you are definitely not alone. Drop a comment with what is costing you the most right now: mints, milk, or just the existential dread of the self-checkout total. And if this video actually said what you've been thinking for months, share it with someone who needs to hear it, because the algorithm will not spread the truth on its own. We have to do that part ourselves.